to the Thursday, December 22nd, 2022 regular meeting for the Board of Education, Fairfax Central School District. Can we please stand for the pledge? We got everything. All right, sorry. Motion to open the meeting, please.
So moved.
Second?
Aye.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you for coming out on this rainy night. And we're going to jump right into the agenda. And with that, I will turn it over to Superintendent Tony.
Thank you, President DeLullo. Welcome, everyone, tonight. Happy holidays. Nice to see such a large amount of people here. We have a lot to share with you this evening. We're going to start with science teacher at Mahopac High School, Jennifer Deagle, and she's going to share some students with us who are going to talk about Project Lead the Way.
And I'm here to walk you through our engineering facilities that we have at my school. If you look over here, we have space for classroom, and then over there we have our working space for our engineering projects. And then back there we have a room that connects both of these for our engineering lab where all fabrication and prototyping will take place. As we go into this room, our engineering working space, we'll see these students are prototyping their designs for a bottle rocket project. This project has the main goal of achieving maximum velocity by their design of their nose cones and their fin shapes. As we move on, they will eventually select out of a multitude of designs the one that they'll choose to 3D model as their final prototype. Over there, we see more students modeling over here. That's the fins. Once they're done with the 3D modeling process, they will be ready to do rapid fabrication of their prototypes. As we can see these students over here doing so, they are prepping their 3D model that they modeled to be ready to be sent off to the 3D printers. As you can see, some of the prints are already in progress, and they take a varying amount of time depending on size, shape, and density. We also have our laser cutter over here, which is what we will be using to fabricate the fins. Once they're done with the fabrication, it's time for the step in which they'll actually be putting together the rocket or product assembly. So over here you see they have their nose cones and their fins and their designs, and this is where they're going to be fully putting it in together. As we're moving back, you'll also notice this large door, and what it does is it opens up to connect both classrooms to the engineering lab. Over there, there's the door, and what it looks like, it opens. And that's really it. Thank you for watching our video. I hope you were impressed by our students and our school.
President DeLulo, members of the board, and Superintendent Tona, thank you on behalf of several cohorts of engineering students for investing in our future. To those of you who I have not yet introduced myself, my name is Daniel Walsh, and I'm currently a sophomore in Maypac's PRT program. Your support of Project Lead the Way and Project Risk Taker has put us on a pace to qualify for a 4-year total of over 1,000 elective college credits from the Rochester Institute of Technology by the end of this school year. Please consider our new STEM suite, which we have just shown in both the tour and the video, creates the opportunity to explore or plan high-paying careers in engineering and technical fields. Hundreds of our second graders have visited the STEM suite recently, as we have been trying to gauge interest at a younger age. And I myself, along with many of my fellow students, have used the engineering suite for many of our very own projects. As part of the Project Risk Taker program, I have already fallen in love. The opportunities provided by the program are seldom found elsewhere. The PRT program is unique in that it combines engineering, Algebra 2, and physics. To gain a footing in lucrative STEM fields, to be led by 3 outstanding teachers, and to be surrounded by like-minded students are opportunities not to be missed. As a student, I am particularly grateful to be part of the program with other motivated students. We all get along well, and there's a sense of camaraderie among us. We work together in all 3 classes. We study together, and we earn our grades together. Late night calls have surely been proven to be worth it, as we all do well on the test the next day. When our courses become difficult, each student's motivation rubs off on the other, we lift each other up, and we all get through together. I can surely say that I, along with all the other Project Risk Taker students, are immensely grateful to be part of such a great program, along with our best of friends. Thank you everyone for being here, and allow me to introduce our next speaker and member of the PRT program, Danica Perrin.
Good evening. I'm Danica Perrin, and I'm a sophomore in the PRT program. One of the reasons that our program is so amazing is because our classes are taught together instead of separated. Our teachers were willing to adjust their classes so that what we learn in one is further developed in other parts of the program. Furthermore, we actually get to use what we learn outside of the class that we learned in. For example, someone can ask Mr. Emery in algebra second period when we're going to use trigonometry in the real world, and we can cross the hall to the STEM lab third period, and where we can laser cut and 3D print material to build trusses and launch bottle rockets and so many other projects to actually prove it that this is by Mr. Mellon. I think this is very valuable because we're given a deeper understanding of our material rather than surface level information that was taught and then immediately disregarded. The interconnectedness of our courses is demonstrated by this notebook right here. While it's technically my physics notebook, its pages are filled with parts of what we learned in physics, math, and engineering. In sum, the PRT program gives us the skills we need to analyze the world one math, engineering, physics problem at a time. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leslie Christina, and I'm currently a junior, and I was enrolled in the program last year as a sophomore. My sophomore year happened to be an amazing year because of the program. The first day of the program was very nerve-wracking for me because I felt like I wasn't smart enough to be in a room full of some of the smartest students in my grade. However, I quickly learned that I was one of those students, and Mr. Quackenbush and Mr. Emery helped me realize that. My first ever physics class was something I'll remember for the rest of my life. Quack had split us into groups, and we did a lab where we had to blow up balloons. The trick was that we had to blow up the balloon and hand it to him with our left hand, otherwise it would get popped. I genuinely enjoyed the year I spent in the program because it provided me with a great challenge that I originally wasn't ready to face. Halfway into the first quarter, I knew that I would love being in the program, and I did. In physics, we learned topics such as momentum, circular motion, projectile motion, and energy. And in Algebra 2, we learned topics that coincided with the topics we were learning in physics, which really aided my studies. The PRT program has taught me how to be confident in myself and in my ability as a student in STEM. Thank you, everyone. Next up, we have James.
Hi, my name is James Lucchini. I'm a junior, and last year I was part of the PRT program. From this program, I learned many things in the field of engineering as well as life lessons. When the class enrollment came around for this year, the 2022 year, a number of classes were recommended for the students in the PRT program last year in order to stay along the engineering path. The recommended classes for me were civil engineering, pre-calc 101, and superchemistry, all of which are the classes I'm currently enrolled in. For me, I chose to follow these recommended courses because I'm looking to go into the field of engineering, specifically into materials engineering or civil engineering. Surprisingly, there's a significant overlap of physics with the superchemistry course, and the methods Quack taught us last year have really helped in the chemistry course. Especially considering that I have no chemistry background and the superchemistry is recommended to have a chemistry background. In addition, Mr. Emery's math class has assisted in the calculation-based questions in chemistry as well as the pre-calc curriculum. The coordination of all the classes gave me an advanced knowledge of engineering. Next year, I hope to continue pursuing engineering-based classes, which will help me prepare for an engineering major in college and hopefully save me some money in the future. So as a token of our gratitude for your service, we'd like to present you with a little gift. And please know that you have an open invitation to visit the STEM Suite and be confident that with your continuing support, our achievements will be far greater both here as learners and in the world as contributors to the common good. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much. Hopefully we won't hurt ourselves or anything here, but, oh, look at this. Awesome. Outstanding.
Thank you, guys. Fantastic.
Just want to see if you need.
Appreciate it.
We had an opportunity prior to the meeting, the board and some of the folks who were here, to tour the lab, and it's incredibly impressive, and obviously the students are even more impressive. So I want to thank all the teachers who are in the program, and thank the students for coming out tonight to present. And I just love these parts of these meetings because it showcases the real power of the school and the district and the students that we can produce. And I applaud you in your work, and I wish you all the best. You don't need luck, you guys are great, but I wish you all the best. Okay, so thank you. Continuing on that theme, we're going to recognize some fall athletes, and with that, I will turn it back to Ms. Toner.
Thank you, President DeLullo. Hello, Mr. Luciano, our athletic director. So to echo President DeLullo, thank you to our students and our science teachers that are here tonight. The future is limitless. What you shared tonight hopefully sparked the interest of some of our future high school students. The work that you've done with the second graders across the district is so appreciated, so we can grow this program. And the amount of college credits that you will leave here with is incredibly impressive, so congratulations. So at this time, we have athletic awards for our fall athletes. So as I call your name, if you can come up to get your awards, and then I think we'll have you line up right in front of the table here, and we can take a group picture. All right, so Mia Caldarella, All League, All Section cheerleader. Come on up, Mia. Okay, we'll give her award at another time. Alexis LeBlanc, All League, All Section cheerleading. If you can hold your applause until the end, and we'll recognize everyone at the same time. Kira McDowell, All League, All Section cheerleading. Lila Greco, All League, All Section cheerleading. Juliana Greco, All League, All Section cheerleading. Brett Bergerson, All League, cross country. Marie Camastro, All League, All Section field hockey. Maya O'Keefe, All League, field hockey. Allison Rondeau, All League, field hockey. Joey Gracia, All League, football. He's playing basketball right now, okay. We'll see him at the next one. Anthony Porco, All League, All Section football. Owen Ryan, All League football. And Tom Jacobellis, All League football. Paul Booth, All League soccer. Manny Perez, All League soccer. And Colin Waring, All League soccer. Olivia Brady, All League swimming. Kira Profaro, All League swimming. Megan McGurdy, All League swimming. Molly McGurdy, All League swimming. Kaylee Summersford, All League swimming. And Michaela Kunka, All League swimming. This is a test for Mr. Luciati. Lauren Bieberman, All League and All Section volleyball. Ileana Zito, All League volleyball. Piper Clammer, All League and All Section soccer. Jessica Sturbins, All League soccer. Kayla Tepinpagwe, All League soccer. And Katie Watts, All League, All Section soccer. Congratulations to all of these students. Let's give them a round of applause.
I'd just like to jump in real quick before we finish. The fall season is probably the hardest and longest season. These student athletes are back here in August while everybody's still on summer break, putting in the time and effort for our school and their teammates, our coaches, and our community, and they do an amazing job. I'd also like to add that for the second year in a row, or I actually think third year in a row since I've been here, every single one of our fall varsity teams have got the Scholar Athlete Team Award. So not only do they excel on the field, they excel in the practice. So let's congratulate all our student athletes for a fantastic fall season.
thank you guys for representing our schools, all your hard work and efforts, and being role models for our future generations, because they truly look up to you.
Absolutely. Congratulations. You guys are great. Go ahead, Superintendent.
And the celebration continues. So congratulations to all of our student athletes. And now we're going to shift our attention to our staff members who have been in our district for 30 years. So that's a huge accomplishment. 30 years is a long time. So we're happy to be able to honor the following people this evening. Diane Binns, elementary teacher at Austin Road. Amy Carlin, elementary teacher at the Falls. Kathleen Harney Fierstein, elementary teacher at Austin Road. Robin Clark, elementary teacher at Lakeview. Lisa Siclari, bus driver cleaner from the Transportation Department. William J. Siclari, chief mechanic, bus garage. Stephen Troost, temporary assistant supervisor, transportation. Rose Krause, monitor at the high school. Anne Marie Caniglio, elementary teacher at Lakeview. I believe Anne Marie was unable to attend. And Lynn Paulette, elementary teacher at Austin Road. And Lynn was unable to attend. If you haven't, make sure that they show you the beautiful award that they're receiving for their 30 years. So thank you so much for your dedication to our school district and to the students. Board of Education, would you like to join our 30-year recipients for a photo?
Sure.
We might need 2 rows for this as well.
testament to endurance and loyalty and devotion to moving our kids along. So complete congratulations to you guys and all the best. Okay, so let's keep.
Ben, could I have a quick second? Only because we recognize students, we recognize faculty. I'm going to step over here off the dais, and I want to recognize the school itself. I'm not as the board member, but I'm going to be as a representative from Toys for Tots.
Okay.
And we have a plaque for the many, many years of dedication that the school district has offered to Toys for Tots. This goes across every one of the facilities, every one of our schools. Transportation, today I was there picking up toys. It's overwhelming the amount of support that our community gives. A lot of it comes right through the schools. It's the parents, it's the students, faculty, teachers, everybody coming together. Good cause. Thank you so much. Merry Christmas. We appreciate everything that you guys do. This is for the entire school.
Thank you, John.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Jonathan, private school. Okay, so let's move along. Communications. I do not think we have any comments on the agenda. Now we're going to get into some of the more routine reports. Yeah.
No, agenda comments. That's okay, I can go later, whichever.
I didn't have anything for resident comp.
Are you on the list for residents' comments?
And last time for agenda comments, I submitted through the list of resident comments saying it's for agenda. Again, it doesn't matter.
Okay, all right. Okay, we'll get you, I think we got you on the list for later. All right, thank you.
I also signed up to speak.
Okay, all right, thank you.
For resident comments.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, we welcome people to come in and talk. It's not easy, and we always appreciate the feedback. All right, so let me go into the finance. So again, I say this almost every month, is I do encourage people to review these reports. They represent the inflow and the outflow of literally every nickel that we spend and that we take in. So it is quite a lot of details that if you are, want to look at what we're doing, you can definitely see it there. So I'm going to go one by one. There is quite a bit this month. So I think the way I'm going to do it is, okay. All right, first one is the treasurer's report for September 2022. Can I get a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Warrants, September 2022. Motion, go ahead.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
The revenue status report, September of 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Budget transfers, September 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor? Aye. Treasurer's report, October 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor? Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Warrants, October 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. We go to revenue status report, October 2022. Motion to approve. Second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Budget transfers, October 2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
And think that's it. Okay, now we're going to the minutes. Minutes for the 11/15/2022 work session. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Minutes 11/17/2022. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right, now we move on to the superintendent report. I turn it over to Superintendent Tona.
Thank you, President Tallulah. So thank you again to our students and staff members who joined us this evening. It was wonderful to recognize our student athletes as well as our 30-year veteran staff members. And thank you again to our engineering students, along with the science teachers who were here. They provided us a terrific overview of our Project Lead the Way program and the engineering courses that we provide. This program provides our students with such a great foundation in engineering, and we look forward to seeing our students continue to thrive in this program and beyond. And I asked them to stay a couple of extra minutes because this was just in this week. Congratulations to our athletic director, Stephen Luciana. He was recognized by the National Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association as a Certified Athletic Administrator. This is a voluntary certification process that includes a thorough evaluation of his educational background, experience, and professional contributions, as well as a rigorous, comprehensive written examination. We are so proud of Mr. Luciana for attaining this level of professionalism. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations. 2 years ago, the district applied for what's called a Dormitory Authority of the State of New York grant for some playground and technology upgrades. We're happy to announce that we recently received notification that the grant was awarded for a total of $50,000. And this grant will provide for some additional 3D printers here at the high school to go with those that we saw in our tour today, a new sound system at the middle school, a playground slide at Fulmer Road, learning lab furniture at Austin Road, and some stage lighting at Lakeview. So thank you to the state of New York for providing us with these valuable resources and assets to us. I would also like to thank our music department staff and students for providing us with so much entertainment this month. Impressive is definitely an understatement. Our students shined during Illusion and the many concerts and performances at a variety of venues that took place this month. Special thanks to our music staff for arranging these events to showcase our students' talent. Be sure to catch the latest edition of Spotlight on Mayapack, which focuses on our music department. I just want to mention that earlier today I did send out a message that tomorrow we will be following a half-day schedule because we are concerned about the dropping temperatures tomorrow in the early afternoon, and we want to make sure everyone gets home safely. So Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, and Happy New Year to everyone in the Mahopac community. I wish you a happy, healthy, and restful holiday, and see you all in 2023.
I just want to make one comment. So on the dormitory, the word from the state. So a lot of times people don't understand. I didn't understand until I was on the board. You don't automatically get aid. You have to apply for grants, and you have to apply. So she thanked the New York State, but the real thanks is, I think, some of the people up here, correct? No? You're not going to take, all right, whatever. You're not going to take it? All right, so it's the office.
It was a team effort.
A team effort, that's a true leader right there. So the office, the district office had to apply for all of these. I'm really excited about this because one of the things that's listed there, we had, I'll tell you what it is. The middle school evidently needed some additional music equipment, and they were kind of begging us, not begging us, they were saying it's held up by tape and, good thoughts. So I'm really happy that we're able to deliver this. And it's not automatic. You have to fill out a form, and I'm sure they're not very easy to fill out. So I just want to congratulate the team for bringing a deliverable to the district. So thank you very much for that. was a feedback, yeah. So, thanks, and again, I went to the Illusions concert, and I was just blown away. I think, shame on me for not going earlier. All right, let's keep moving along. This is, okay, so, our Tanner. Okay, we'll start with committee reports. Let's start with, we did have two postponed, but we have the HR committee and the facility. So, Vice President Savino, why don't you take the HR committee?
Good evening, everyone. HR committee met on December 13th at 5:30 at the district office. Present were Superintendent Tona, Assistant Superintendent for HR Legato, myself, Trustees Martinez, and Masafra. And the fruits of our labor for the evening, a rather quick meeting. We discussed tonight's HR agenda, and we adjourned at 6:30. That's all. Thank you.
Mr. Farrell?
Facilities met also last Tuesday, the 13th, prior to the HR meeting. In attendance was our new facilities director, Tim Walsh, which was great. Ms. Tona, Ms. Howe, Mike Martin, Fernando, Ben, and myself. Tim gave us an update. You know, he was just a couple weeks into the district, so he was able to, you know, kind of get his feet wet a little bit, went around and saw what was going on. He did bring a couple of things to our attention. There are a couple little capital projects that we got to try and figure out. There's some issues with the parapet wall here at the high school. So we'll dive into that. He gave us an update. We got an update on a capital project. We were all in all about an hour there, and we adjourned. On our next meeting, we'll start to do some building assessments. We'll get put into each building and kind of figure out what each building needs. So going forward, we're not hit with a $60 million bond. At least we can start to sort some of this stuff out before we get there. So the committee's doing great. Been hard. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so there was also a meeting of the ad hoc advocacy committee. Trustee McCracken cannot be here tonight, as I don't tease him because I think he actually is doing it, but he's in Albany and there's an emergency session trying to get a pay raise for our legislators, and he has to be in attendance, so he's very sorry he couldn't make it. He sent me the minutes, and then we'll do some new business with the ad hoc committee in a minute. So the minutes of the meeting, December 12th was the meeting, started at 5:30, and attending were Tanner McCracken, the chair, Ms. Tona, superintendent. I think, Jonathan, you were there as well, virtually?
No, I wasn't.
All right, so they were there. The discussion in QA, the purpose of the advocacy committee, issues and concerns, some of which discussed was school safety, violence, drugs, mandates, mask and vaccine, religious exemptions for vaccine mandates, homeschooling laws, state and federal laws, library education, and unfunded mandates on school districts. Community members will be appointed to the committee in about a minute. And the next meeting agenda items will be training session of the New York Senate.gov. Okay, they're going to training session for the website, discussing issues and concerns that affect education and focusing on key issues for 2023 advocacy campaigns, and looking forward to the New York State budget process. So I think, and I definitely made this clear to Trustee, and I'll hopefully be at the next meeting. But the fact that we can advocate for our budget needs is incredibly important. So that locks up that meeting, so that's done. Okay, so new business is just the ad hoc committee. So I think I thought I saw one or two folks that are there. So I'm gonna read the, I think this is a resolution, right? Yes. All right, so here we go. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna go really quick here, just quite a bit. Whereas the Board of Education of the Mahopac Central School District established an advocacy ad hoc committee to support the board in assessing the impact of existing and proposed legislation, as well as emerging federal, state, and local guidance on a variety of issues affecting the district, including health and safety concerns such as COVID. And whereas pursuant to policy 2260, interested community members will be appointed forward to the ad hoc committee. Therefore, be it resolved upon recommendation of the ad hoc committee, the Board of Education hereby appoints the following community members to the Board of Ed as ad hoc committee. I'm going to destroy your name, so I apologize. Daniela Olchak, Jake, Jack, thanks. Joaquin, excuse me. Moda Jr., Candace Deglon, Jerome Mitchell, Aaron O'Brien, Melissa Reardon, Dawn Kelly, Mike Mongan, Elizabeth Swanson, Ryan Beckwith, Maggie Trainer, and Christopher Harrigan. I think that's it. So, all in favor? Motion to approve these.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you guys for volunteering. So nice to see so many people anxious to help out.
Okay, now we move on to additional new business. This is the library books. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to read the resolution, and we are going to vote, and it will be, we're going to do an aye and a favor, in favor, not in favor. And let me read first. We're going to do each book. There's 2 books up for review. We have a recommendation from the superintendent. One is Looking for Alaska. The second one is The Hate You Give. I'm going to go and do one. It's one by one. I will take a vote, and we'll see if it approves. There are 6 of us tonight. We need 5 to pass either way. Whereas the book Looking for Alaska by John Green is deemed a challenge book, whereas a district curriculum book committee convened, reviewed, and provided a recommendation for the book to stay in circulation at the Mahopac High School Library to the superintendent of schools on October 20th, 2022. Be it resolved upon the recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the book Looking for Alaska by John Green will remain in circulation in the Mahopac High School Library. Be it further resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the process of the superintendent of schools, providing that a parent of a student in grades 9 to 12 that do not wish for their student to borrow this book may notify the building principal or librarian in writing, and an alert will be placed on the student's account to notify the librarian during book checkout. Okay, excuse me. So can I get a motion to approve, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Let's get a hand vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any nays?
I'm voting against, not because I don't like the book and I don't want to see it in circulation, but because I want to see parent approval instead of parent request for it.
Okay, thank you, Jonathan. So the ayes have it, right? Did I count that right? Yes. Okay, thank you. Next one. Whereas the book, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas is deemed a challenged book, whereas a district curriculum book committee convened, reviewed, and provided a recommendation for the book to stay in circulation at the Mahopac School, Middle School, and High School Library to the superintendent of schools on October 20th, 2022. Be it resolved, upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education hereby approves that the book, The Hate You Give by Angie Thomas, remain in circulation in the Mahopac High School Library and in circulation in the Mahopac Middle School Library in the 8th grade reads section, where students in grades 6 and 7 must have a parental permission to borrow this book. Be it further resolved upon recommendation of the superintendent of schools, the Board of Education approves the process of the superintendent of schools, providing that a parent of a student in grades 8 to 12 that do not wish for their student to borrow this book may notify the building principal or librarian in writing. An alert will be placed on the student's account to notify the librarian during book checkout. May I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Anybody have any questions? Okay, let's do the same way. So, Mike, let's just go down. So, just say aye, yea, nay. Yes?
Aye.
Yes.
Yes? Yes? Yes.
Yes. Yes. No for the same reason.
Okay, thank you. All right, I think we're done with that. Thank you, everybody. Next is all right, so we're gonna do public comments in a second, and I just wanna go over some rules. Oh, no, that wasn't. All right, we're good. All right, consent agenda, again, the reason for I say this every month, but the consent agenda is designed to cover a lot of routine business. That's all right. The consent agenda is designed to do a lot of routine business, approval of contracts. I go through step by step at the work session. It's all here, take a look at it, and if you have any questions afterwards, but that's why it's there. So, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved. So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. And then, now we go to. All right, so now we're going to the public comment. Just some general rules. The total period cannot exceed 30 minutes. We ask all speakers to adhere to policy 1512, which is on our website. And some of the highlights is you have to maintain the public decorum. We try to run a civil meeting, and everyone is professional and should behave in a polite and professional manner. Respect the 3-minute time allotted. You're not making a speech. You're talking to us. You have to address us, the board. Address me, President of the board. Conduct yourself in a civil manner. Obscene language, libelous statements, threats of violence, statements of advocating racial, religious, or other forms of prejudice will not be tolerated. Comments must be made in a respectful manner. The board president will cut off comments deemed to be derogatory, inflammatory, inappropriate, or out of order. Personal attacks or criticism of any person connected with the district will not be permitted, and you should also take into account the people in the room. So with that, we're going to welcome up our resident comments, and Adam has the list for that.
Okay, first we have Thomas Vitello. Thomas here. Okay. We move on to Jennifer Colomanico. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, President DeLillo, Superintendent Tona, and Board. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. So the issues, of course, that you just voted on, issues that you're not talking about tonight in regards to the mascot, there's a lot of change being asked kind of this community right now. And I just kind of wanted to say a few things about change as we consider these votes. I know these votes aren't easy, and I appreciate the deliberation that you're undertaking here. Nobody likes change. Obviously, the mascot issue is invoking a lot of concern. People are uncomfortable with it. Usually when there's a change sort of put upon us, perhaps that we didn't seek out, we grumble, eventually we adapt. And think about ways in which people are asked to change their identities. Women, when they get married, often change their names. They have to give up kind of the identity of who they were and embrace a new identity. And I'm sure that's difficult, and eventually they adapt. The Washington Commanders have certainly adapted to their new name, doing quite well, from what I understand. And so, even though it caused a lot of consternation to have to go through that process, we adapt. That's the lesson that we teach our children, to be resilient, to adapt to change. And I think that it is incumbent upon all of us to think about what the change is being asked for. Why is the reason we are being asked to change? It's not just for no good reason. We've learned, we evolve. The world is evolving around us, and it's up to us to evolve with it. We have an opportunity to fix something that at the time, perhaps nobody intentionally did to cause harm, but it has been shown to cause harm. And so as we think about our options, we have to think about that there's an opportunity here to do better, an opportunity to be better. There's a mentor that I have, a man who served in government, who served in business, and who advises leaders, and he has a mantra about how we deal with change. He said there's 3 ways we deal with change. We fight it and die, we accept it and survive, or we can lead it and prosper. And I think in this opportunity, we have an opportunity to lead change. We have an opportunity to redefine, who we are in this community, to address wrongs. I understand from the work session that there hasn't been a decision. Perhaps I'm wrong about that, but it seems to be there hasn't been a decision, and there are options in front of us. And frankly, either option would be change in this community, right? There's an option to change the logo, the name, the sweatshirts, the gym floor. That's obviously change. People have strong opinions. People are going to be sad. People are going to have to go through that process. The other option, however, is certainly one to explore, but that's also change, because to actually learn about and acknowledge the plight of the Native people who live here would challenge us to accept things that oftentimes people don't want to hear about and don't want to acknowledge the part that people have played in why those people were displaced from their land. And we are in a community right now where there are challenges to books and conversations about things like slavery and things like oppression. So the opportunity to ask our community to change and be willing to have these conversations is not insignificant. So I would say either way, we're going to have to ask people to change. And so we should just see that as an opportunity to show our children how to be resilient, how to change, how to evolve. And so I appreciate the process. I appreciate those who have strong feelings. And I just encourage you to think about the opportunity to do the right thing.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I think you brought up a fabulous point about change and fight or die. And I highly, you got me thinking immediately about the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Jonathan.
Everybody should read it. It's perfect for what you're talking
Jonathan,
about.
you got to let the folks talk. All right, who's next?
Next up, we have Ralph Ehrenpreis. Thank you for coming.
Thank you. Thank you, Superintendent, President of the Board members. Thank you for this opportunity. I also want to address the issue of the mascot in a more of a practical term at this point, because the ruling that has come down that precipitated this right now was a ruling by the New York State Supreme Court. It wasn't by the governor, it wasn't by the legislature, it was the court that made the ruling. This was 21 years in the making, ruling on the Cambridge Central School District mascot. And this is where we're at right now, regardless of people's feelings about the mascot. I know people have very strong feelings about the mascot because it's been with us for such a long time. But right now, your job as the board have to come forward with a process going forward on what to do when presented with this. New York State Department of Education has come forward, and they are basically not being active in this, but proactive, responding to the state Supreme Court ruling. So when you look back on the mascot, you've got to realize that we have either choice of embracing the change. Over time, we have like a 3-year period to do this, 1 year to get the process going, and 2 more years to do it. The issue of money comes into play because of this, because if we were to fight this in court, it could potentially cost the school district $500,000. While I know the changes are going to cost money, but uniforms change. You were speaking on Tuesday about how the field is going to be torn up and going to have to change anyway. So these kind of things, over the course of 3 years, a lot of things end up being changed. Letterheads, uniforms, the whole team changes. All the students are changed, all the coaches eventually change. So we have to consider the monetary costs of all this also. One other thing that I heard in the discussion on Tuesday was we've been talking about the mascot change for many years, and the issue that came up that struck me was people don't even know the Native Americans that were here. They don't even know Chief Neam. They don't know anything about that. And there's been a lot of lip service about, oh, but we're honoring the Native Americans that were here and some of them that are still here. But the thing is, I haven't seen in all the years, I've been here 29 years, both of my children went through the schools. I haven't seen anything with curriculum, with plaques, with teaching, with anything that honors the Native Americans. The mascot at certain points was an atrocity. I'm glad we've gotten away from that because they actually had them in plain Indian garbs, not Native garbs to this area, doing scalping routines on the field. And I'm glad we've at least moved forward from that. But you know, there's always been this lip service of how, well, we should be honoring our Native Americans and the mascot is a way to do it. I think there are better ways to do it. Okay. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Harrigan. You're up. Thanks for coming.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me speak tonight. I thought there would be a discussion on book policy in general, but I didn't know it was just going to be a vote on one or two books. I, like many parents, are in favor of a policy that takes a parent's input into consideration before their children can access certain titles in our school catalogs. There are certain books that are or were available in our schools that are erotic or in some cases pornographic in nature. These are not appropriate for a school library. One parent read a few lines from one of these books at the last meeting. It was apparently so inappropriate that the board shut off her microphone and ended the meeting. The passage from the book was deemed salacious and unfit for a business meeting full of adults, but apparently it's perfectly fine reading material for middle and high schoolers. Speaking of our students, let's cite the technology use policy on the website here. It states for students, quote, do not access, use, transmit, copy, or create material that is offensive, obscene, pornographic, stolen, or illegal copies of copyrighted works, end quote. The district is requiring our students to follow this policy. There are inherent filters on our computers. Students are not allowed to wear clothing with offensive slogans on it. However, all of this can just be circumvented if you just move that into the library, and then magically it's all acceptable. That makes no sense whatsoever, and it apparently goes against our policy as well. I don't want to get in the weeds over individual books, all right? I would like to trust my school to make these decisions to not include certain titles that are just plain inappropriate. And I know this question is not going to be answered tonight, but as for the board, if you're not aware, and for the community out there, I'm not sure how closely our schools work with the American Library Association, the ALA, or the American Association of School Libraries. I know it could be a very in-depth, so I'm not expecting an answer here. But I did want to highlight some of those organizations' guiding principles. All right, so this is from the ALA. This is a group that sponsors National Banned Book Week, which Mahopac High School does participate in. So in regards to labeling things in the school library, or in libraries in general for the ALA, restricting access to library materials based on age or grade level does not respect the individual needs, interests, and abilities of patrons and violates the Library Bill of Rights, end quote. Also, from the ALA, under frequently asked questions, is it prejudicial to describe violent and sexual content? For example, would including contains mild violence on a bibliographic record of a graphic novel violate the Library Bill of Rights? Quote, no one person should take responsibility for judging what is offensive. Such voluntary labeling in bibliographic records and catalogs violates the Library Bill of Rights. Again, I don't know how closely our school is following the ALA, but the American Association of School Libraries, their statement on labeling things, Quote, a label that describes material as controversial or warns readers of mature themes is an example of a label that contains a value judgment. Since what is defined as controversial varies widely from person to person, instead, school librarians should support each learner's right to make determinations about content, end quote. Again, I'm not sure how much our school district is following this, and I have about 30 seconds left, but
You're actually over by 30. Just try to wrap it up.
yeah, so I don't know how closely our district is related to these organizations, but I would start questioning their expertise if they can't concede that any material might be questionable or objectionable for children.
Thank you for your comments.
All right, and lastly, I just have one last thing.
Hurry up.
All right, for the staff and board members that are opposed to this obscene material being accessible to our children, I do commend you for standing up for parental rights and common decency. For those that wish to allow obscene materials in our schools, it seems either one or two things is taking place. We're witnessing just pure cowardice. That is, people may personally disagree with the material.
Chris, you're a minute over, so wrap it up.
All right, but they are afraid that will they be seen as book banners or being anti-diversity. Or two, they purposely want children exposed to this obscene material. So,
Chris, come on.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. All right, who's next?
Next we have Sean McDermott. Sean, thanks for coming. Thank you for your service.
Thank you to the board for allowing me the chance to speak. My phone's a little tough to use. Okay, so I wasn't planning on speaking. You can judge that by my haircut. I have a Marine Corps colonel that cuts my hair. He's been not doing a good job lately, so he's been punished. So I want to thank folks and just introduce myself. So Sean McDermott, 27 years active duty in the Navy, and moved here in 2018. So again, I want to thank the board because last month myself and roughly 40 veterans and supporters came to the meeting and we discussed the veteran tax exemption. And what's before the board is to match what the county is already doing for property tax. And the article that went in the Mayapack News, I think, summed it up better than I can, so I'll just try to hit it briefly. But it basically said that on a $500,000 house, the community, a non-veteran, is already supporting your veterans in the community by paying an extra $3 a month. And what this would do is change that from $3 to $10. So for the price of a Starbucks coffee, you could be supporting the veterans in your community. And I think you have the opportunity to vote for that in a timely fashion that would make it applicable to this up here coming tax. And the better thing is, God forbid you read the community wrong and that they don't want to pay the extra $7 a month a Starbucks coffee, and you're wrong. You also have the exact same power to put it right back where it was. So the threat of the school board making a mistake or reading the community wrong is pretty low, considering we're talking about $7 a month. So I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for your comments. I'm not going to go back and forth on the finances and the calculus and the analysis that we did. I'm not sure those numbers are accurate. We have presented numbers in the past, and we will continue, as we said on Tuesday, we will continue to look at it. The topic is not off the table, it's still on the table, we're continuing review. I just don't particularly agree with that analysis that you just laid out. I think it's not accurate, so, but I appreciate your comments, thank you for your service, and I'm not gonna tell you to get a haircut, you look fine, so.
I can just add to that,
Okay.
it was approximately $102 more a year on a $500,000 home. That would be the increase to go to the town and county level.
Thank you, Superintendent. Okay, who's next?
Next we have Marie Frankel. Marie.
Thank you, Superintendent. Thank you, Board. So I'm here to talk about
So good news travels fast, but bad news travels faster. Already I noticed the Journal News was covering that Mayapack's already agreed to only an M-turf, a capital M turf, while the field is being replaced. New York State Education Department states that our Indian mascot is in willful violation of the Dignity for All Students Act, signed into law in 2009, effective 2012. I fail to see how the name Indians in our logo of an M with a spear through it impacts the dignity of students in the Mayapack School District. That it creates a hostile environment and creates emotional harm to our children. Have we had complaints about this, or is it just pressure from those outside the school district who do not pay our taxes who object to the overall concept to strip all history from the schools? Other than the discussion of this issue, which does create a lot of distraction for our staff to educate our students in the basis of education, namely reading, writing, math, science, history, so our students can be competitive and successful, which I noted today was great to see the PRT students here today. In addition to this, I noticed that also there were government officials who want to cut off federal food to schools, who don't allow boys and girls bathrooms. I'm not sure where the Mayapack position is on that, but that could be another issue that we're going to have to deal with. We're spending resources on challenged books that are read by a very small percentage of the school. Why are these books even here? I read that Heather Brugel, who was a historian, called the terms Indians inaccurate because when it comes to describing Native Americans or indigenous people, it was derived when Christopher Columbus arrived and thought he was in the East Indies instead of the Caribbean. So why is this term really offensive? I found images of a lot of casinos. I don't know, I have them here. Many of the casinos are okay with some variations of the Native American logos. I guess it's okay to use it for commercial use that benefits those groups. Even the Land O'Lakes symbol has fallen victim to this pressure to a new farm-owned logo because the Butter Maiden was depicted as a sex object, and the symbol is misogynist as well as racist. That quote is obvious that pretty soon everything will soon be objected by anyone powerful in a lobby to object it. The same was true with the long-standing the Aunt Jemima logo, which is now Pearl Milling. If we do change our team, how long will it be before we have to refer to change any other references to Native Americans in our town? Will the word Indian be removed from every textbook? What if the new logo is objective to some other lobbying group, maybe the Save the Wolves Society? As an aside, I just wanted to mention that I did look at the law, and it does say that in summary paragraph S2, that it should provide grants for funds appropriated for this purpose to local school districts to assist them in implementing the guidelines set forth in this section. I know that the powerful threat of cutting state aid to our children is a powerful threat, and I bet that the members of our Congress originally when they voted for the bill never expected it to be used in such a hard-handed way, but that's today's reality. So hopefully as the change is decided on, it won't impact our budget, which actually is pretty large to begin with. So that's it.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Thank you. We got it.
Next, we have Kate Bellantone.
Good evening. Although I'm absolutely disappointed, I'm not the least bit surprised with how the challenge book vote played out tonight. I had signed up hoping to get my talking points in before the vote. Not that it totally would have mattered, but if I fumble on my talking points, that is why. So I was going to ask before you made your vote to again just consider the books recommended by the publisher for kids 14 and above because of vulgarity and mature themes, and have them be moved to the high school. In tonight's vote, that was The Hate U Give, which you guys agreed to pass through. 10 to young 14-year-olds shouldn't have access to this book. Again, the one with 90 uses of F-U-C-K, chants of F the police, and more importantly, beyond the vulgarity, the complex understanding of good cops versus bad cops, which the publisher has a recommended age on for, because children of a certain age will not be able to understand that the way the publisher and the writer want it to be. I understand that procedure has now been thoroughly reviewed, but there are still loopholes, and you're simply choosing not to do anything about them. I was hoping you'd be able to clarify something that was spoken about on Tuesday's work session, because I could have completely misunderstood. From what I got, it was stated that parental permission policy, along with any other policy change, could not be established unless the books were voted down. Is this accurate? Because if so, this just seems so backwards to me. Why wouldn't you instead create a policy that allows each of you to comfortably vote yes? Doing so would remove a lot of the hesitancy that I saw in a lot of board members' faces on Tuesday, because inside you knew that keeping this book where it is isn't 100% correct. So can you just clarify, because I really could have misunderstood.
Are you done, or?
Well, I have one more point, but if
All
you
right,
can
go ahead,
clarify
make the
first.
point, I'll come back, I'll read.
Okay. So basically, by keeping books recommended by the publisher for 14 and above in the middle school library, it is now at the hands of concerned parents like myself to vet what's going in the database year after year. These reviews and challenges have been exhausting for everyone. They've taken up way too much time, too much resources, too much effort. It's just ridiculous. We can all agree on that. But by voting to keep mature books meant for high schoolers in the middle school, it's just going to bring on more annual challenges. This is just, it's going to be a never-ending cycle, especially with the direction that New York State tends to go in, and is just kind of going there faster and faster. And then my last question is, because I know you had said you needed 5 votes, I just want to confirm, is that the same as if all board members were in attendance? Because I know Ms. Musafra and Mr. McCracken had a book concern, and I do not believe their vote would have been yes tonight.
Right, so the way it works, are you done?
I'm done.
All right, so the way it works with the vote is, we were originally a body of 9 people, so to get a vote, you need 5, right? 5 to approve something.
Okay,
anything,
so regardless of the number of people.
5.
Okay, that's
So if, wait, so we only had 8, we only have 8 now, because Mr. Simone resigned, and we only had 6 in attendance. Regardless of who's here, you still need 5.
Okay.
Okay, so even if your supposition is right, it's still, we had 5 votes here, so that's how it votes. Okay, that's how it works. In terms of, the other question that you had was regarding the, just remind me, what was it?
Just one thing with those votes, as it goes on record, do Mr. McCracken's and Ms. Musafra's vote ever go on record, or it's just the people in attendance?
If they're not here, they don't.
Okay, that's fine.
I mean, they were, Tanner was at,
No, I
Trustee McCracken was at the meeting, Ms. Musafra was not. His comments are a public record because he was there, and you actually heard Ms. Musafra's comments, I think it was the month.
I understand, I'm just
So,
clarifying.
in terms of your point was about the middle school library?
No, so my point was,
Oh, the
Mr.
policy.
McCracken.
So right now, yeah, I remember now. So the policy, we have a very, this policy is delineated, and it's laid out line by line by line. So it was extremely well thought out. You cannot change that policy or you can't change a policy in the middle of implementing it. We have to go by this. We do have a policy committee, but it's the policy that we were using was specific to challenge books. So you can't change it in mid-form. Now, could we change the policy going forward? I guess we could, but the challenge book policy is there. Then there's another policy related to book approval, correct? There's policies. Okay. Go ahead.
If I can ask, you mentioned the meeting the other night. You referenced the part of it would have to be voted down.
Right, there was one point where Tanner had mentioned, Mr. McCracken had mentioned parental permission, and that's just one of them. There are other ones, and
now it makes, so that was specific to the actual recommendation of the superintendent, whereas he couldn't propose an amended version without this one being voted out. So if it went, was approved, then he would not be able to make a motion. It would have to be defeated, then he could propose his amendment.
Okay, so
It
I know-
has nothing to do with
okay,
policy.
So I know my time is up. I just ask that maybe that be looked at again, because it just seems backwards to me. Well, every member up here can vote yes, even with Mr. McCracken and Ms. Musafir here, if the correct policy is adjusted. So I just feel like it's a little backwards.
That's not policy, that's actually part of Robert's rules.
Procedure, I'm sorry, the
Right.
procedure.
That's part of Robert's
Okay.
rules, so that was where that.
Okay.
And the question about the number of board members, in order to hold a public meeting, you have to have at least five members of the board. So that's.
That was just curiosity. Okay, thank you.
I just want to make sure you understood all the points. So.
Mhm.
All right, thank you
so much.
Thank you, appreciate your comments. Okay. Next.
Next we have Marsha Waldman.
Hi. It is amazing to me, well, okay, so a couple of people have already spoken about the fact that we have to face change in our lives. And of course, change has come more rapidly as we progress into the 21st century. And things that were once acceptable to us are no longer acceptable. And things that were not acceptable in the past are acceptable now. People have more personal freedoms, for example, and that's widely acceptable. In the past, a great deal of racism was acceptable. People said things that we would just never say today. People did things that we would never do today. People said, if you're from this ethnic background, I will not employ you. You're not welcome in this restaurant. You can't have a position of respect in the community. We've gotten past that, but we're stuck on this concept of Indians. It's not that the word Indian is a bad thing, but would we accept any other ethnic group being the mascot for our team? No. Mascots aren't people. They're caricatures. That's why most mascots in sports are things like animals or abstract concepts. Imagine if you had chosen any other ethnic group and made that the mascot. What happens when it becomes a joke, a caricature? What happens when the other team makes derogatory comments based on your mascot? We should honor Native American people, and as Ralph said, we should teach more about the true history of our community. But it's time for us to stop dodging this. And one of the other concerns I have is I've taught in the past, and I've been in different school districts because I'm a staff developer. The reputation of our school, the reputation of our community is damaged when we are perceived as a racist school or a racist community, because when even our professional teams are changing their names, we cling to this. Let's not cling to the past. Let's move forward with something that we can be proud of instead of embarrassed by. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments.
Melissa Reardon. Melissa?
evening, everyone. So, I know many of you know who I am already, and it's amazing how people like me are attacked, calling me anti-this, calling me anti-that, while my child, an adult child that I have, is transgender, and she's a conservative. And she was booted out of groups, that claim they support her because she does not share the same views of indoctrinating our children. She's 27 years old and ultra conservative, but that fell on deaf ears. They blasted her on social media. Blasted her. Put her all around. All part of the Democracy Party group on social media, just because she does not align with your beliefs of indoctrination. Now, I always have been taught to forge ahead and be the voice in what I believe in. I just never thought that my voice would have been silenced so quickly on something that I still firmly believe on. And what I believe, it's common sense. It has nothing to do with anything else but basic common sense. We all know what this is about. We all know what is heading our way. But we pretend as though this is not happening. Now, these reading materials that were all praised and voted yes on, except for one, warning a certain policy in place, which I do agree with. That does not align with the Mayapack school mission statement at all. Those materials do not align. I do not need to repeat. I do not need to state what the mission statement is. It's all in line for everyone to see. It does not align. So I think we should propose a change to that mission statement because it does not go hand in hand. And we know that there are guidelines, just like another person spoke of, internet in schools, right? Kids can't just access pornography. They cannot access certain websites, but they can go into a school library and access the same thing that you're saying no to online. So, yes, there are guidelines, okay? 18 to vote, 21 to purchase and consume alcohol. Those things are readily available for kids. They find ways to get them. Does it make it right for them to drink when they're not supposed to?
You're 30 seconds.
I'm going to just say, so I have asked this many times, what is the actual purpose of providing children with really such graphic sexual content in a book?
All right.
Okay? Thank you very much. And make sure that you remember that our children, we are the parents.
Yep.
We do not co-parent with the government at all.
Okay. Thank you very much. Appreciate your comments. I want to thank everybody who's coming up. It's not easy to stand at that microphone.
Oh, it's easy.
Okay. For Melissa, it's easy. She just said. All right. I'm going to. I just want to say something. Go ahead. You go first.
Although our district clerk couldn't be with us tonight, I want to thank her for making sure everything was in order for tonight's meeting. She's not here, but everything is here for us. So Melody, I know you're watching. Thank you very much for keeping us straight, getting things organized, and having us well prepared for our meeting.
Yeah, I mean, we had the appreciation for the board a couple of, I think it was 2 months ago, and we should have Melody LaRocca Appreciation Day too, so we'll try to figure that out. All right, I'm gonna take executive privilege here, and I'm just gonna say a couple of seasonal words here, hopefully. It should take under 50 seconds, I time myself. So during the holiday season, everyone reflects on different things: religious beliefs, traditions, friends and family, gift giving, and my favorite is food. I think that these are all important and should be celebrated. I also try to think about all the blessings we have in our families, in our community, and even in the nation. I also try to think about how lucky we are to be in a community that cares so much, the passion you can see in any of our meetings, regardless of what side you're on, because we care about the kids. And I think that's incredibly important, and everybody should have that commonality about caring for our kids. So, if you're digging into well, the other thing I want to say, there's a strength and a resilience in our community that is unequaled, and I'm really proud of that. I've been here, I wasn't born here, and I wasn't raised here, but I've been here for almost 30 years, and I can see that. So when you're digging into your 7 fishes, or your latke, salmon, brisket, or any other lovely, delicious, think about the blessings that you have and living in this great town and the great neighbors that you have. Because we're all trying to do the right thing for our children. So on behalf of the Board of Ed, I just want to wish you a happy and healthy holidays. Please keep safe. There's bad weather coming. Be safe and stay healthy. So with that, I want to make a motion, ask for a motion to go into executive session to discuss a legal matter.
So moved.
Second, please.
Second.
Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everybody. Be safe.